What's going on, everyone? We are live right now. Let's freaking go. We are just getting up and going here. Happy midweek. People are joining. It's a beautiful thing. Sound check. Yay or nay? Can you guys hear me all right? All right. Can you guys hear me? We got Shabby in the house. What's going on, everyone? All right, so I'm going to say by the waves that people can hear me all right. So if you can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up in the comments. Okay, everyone says yes, so let's get into it. So we got another Restart Real Talk. Now, so far on the Restart Real Talks, we have had Damon John from Shark Tank, Colton Underwood, Caitlyn, the Bella Twins. We've had the CEO of Barstool Sports, Damon John, Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank, Ryan Serhan from $1 Million Listing, Sean Johnson and Andrew East, U.S. Gold Olympian, the Fat Jewish, Hayley Page, and Chef Ambarelle. The list has been crazy, and today we have the one and only Dana White. Now, you guys know, right, the purpose of these talks are to talk to prominent individuals who have achieved just incredible success. And I just want to break down how the hell they got there so that hopefully we can apply it to our lives and make some sort of change to help us out. So today we have the honor of having, honestly, I call him the man, the myth, the legend, Dana White. If you know mixed martial arts, then you will know who Dana White is. He's the president of the UFC. He has literally changed the landscape of sports and entertainment industry by leading UFC to become an internationally renowned business. Under his lead, this is crazy, under Dana White's lead, they purchased the UFC in the early 2000s for a couple $1 million, then sold it for over $4 billion. This is a multi-billion-dollar global enterprise, all done through Dana White's lead. We're going to bring him on. Can't wait to hear his story. So bear with me here. We are going to get Dana White on and go from there. It's a beautiful thing. Waiting for the request. I remember when we had Pilot Pete on, we were trying to get Dana White on, and it was tough to get the request. So might take a minute for the request. Is there a way that I could ping him? All right, so let's get Dana White on. All right. There it is. All right, so we are just waiting on Dana White. He is coming in here in a minute. Ev, do you know how to look at the requests? All right, guys, bear with us here. All right, so I just sent him a request. All right. So if you guys don't know about Dana, president of UFC, and so when mixed martial arts weren't a thing, Dana White and their leadership made it a thing. This company was going under, and literally they bought it for $2 million. They were getting rid of the whole company, almost sold it again for $6-8 million, and then it is now valued in the $5 to $7 billion range. Hopefully Dana can give us more on that. All right. So I remember we had Dana White come on for a Pilot Pete McDonald's challenge. He donated over $10K, and I do remember when he came on, we had some trouble getting his request in here, so we are just waiting for him. He's about to join? Okay. We just got word he's about to join. Guys, if you have questions while Dana and I are talking, put the questions in the comments. I'll make sure to answer them. I'll make sure to get them out there to Dana, and we will go from there. All right. So I don't think he's requested yet. All right, so let's talk about Restart Real Talks while we're waiting for Dana. So if you guys have any ideas for people that we should have on Restart Real Talks, let us know. Like I said before, we've had people from Shark Tank, Barstool Sports, we've had WWE. We're putting a list together of people that we should have on. So anybody that you look up to, that you're like, how did those people get to where they got? There's usually a wild, wild story that put them in that position. And usually it's breaking the blueprint. It's doing things that are unconventional, that are against what like the public would really tell you to do. They've all done it. And the difference is just immaculate. Because if you think about a guy like Dana White, Dana White was a bellman, right? A bellman at a hotel and just said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. What if Dana doesn't do that? Where is his life today? So those are the risks that you have to take. And we're excited to hear more from Dana. All right, so we are just waiting for him to come on in. What's that? All right. So he's coming in a couple minutes. So we just got word Dana's coming in a couple minutes. His meeting's running a little late. Do you guys have any questions for Dana White? Okay, what else can we talk about for how you spell his name? D-A-N-A. Dana White. He is a boy. He is a male. He was a big fighter. Actually, we're going to talk about it. But when he was a bellman, the bellmans in Boston would actually fight against one another, and the winner would get the tips. So this guy was a born fighter, and he knew from day one what he wanted to do. And what's crazy is like during quarantine, there have been no sports, right? We know everything has gotten canceled, literally everything. But somehow UFC has been literally the only entertainment from a live perspective that has managed through that change. So, Dana goes on and on about his life and how he's been so resilient and always takes change as an opportunity to succeed. And he has done it literally from like 16 to where he is now. So, do we have any update from Dana here, Av? We got some questions coming in. So to become the president, you have to know it's in. I think we're going to talk about the way he manifested. Like how did you envision the stuff that you envisioned? The other thing we're talking about is if you remember the McGregor fight, he pretty much took a synergy between boxing and UFC and created one of the largest pay-per-view events of all time. All right, let's see. All right, we're still waiting on Dana. Yeah, do we have an update? Just a couple minutes. All right, so we're going to keep going, talk a little bit more about what we're doing on Restart. So one thing we're doing on Restart, how does he keep all the egos in line? That's a good question. Another one I have for him is how he actually recognizes a good fighter and like what differentiates the fighters. So while we're waiting for Dana, does anyone have any questions for me? I'll do a little Q&A here. What the hell? Let's roll with it. It's almost happy hour. Let's get a drink going. So right now I'm in Nemacolin on a little golf trip with some of the buddies. Nemacolin's out in Pennsylvania. Yes, Risha, Artie's alive. He's getting a massage right now. But so Restart, one thing we're doing, which is pretty cool, is we have a membership model that is coming very shortly. And if you are looking to restart your financial profile or you're looking to restart your career, we're going to have a membership to do that. And we're going to have live talks like this, like we are with Dana. And when we do, the members are going to come into the live talks. They're going to be able to ask questions virtually and be able to speak to these individuals. So we have a lot of cool stuff going on. Golf is not going great. I am getting my ass kicked right now. It's unbelievable. It's just up and down. And I'll tell you what, nothing irritates me more than being bad at golf. It's very frustrating. All right, so we have Dana coming in a couple minutes. If anyone has any questions, put them in the comments. If you have any questions for me now while we're waiting for Dana, I will answer them. Next week, we are headed to, I believe the plan is to head to LA. So there's still a lot of tentative plans going for the LA thing. But next week is, I think we're going to LA, which is exciting. What product do I use? Right now I'm using something called Sunbum. You know the SPF Sunbum? That's what I'm using on there. And then I got this. This is very Nashville of me, I feel like. All right, so we are still waiting for Dana, the one and only. He's coming on here shortly. What piece of advice could I give to teenagers? What I would tell teenagers is just like pay very close attention what it interests you. Because what you'll find is early on in life, the things that interest you from probably the ages of like 10 to 20 remain relatively constant. And if you could build a career and a life around things that interest you, it is going to just behoove the way that you accelerate your career. You're going to get excited about what you're doing. You're going to find passion behind it. So I would say journal. Remember those years. Live in those years. Fall on your face. Recover from it. and you'll be in a good spot. Did I have Goldens before? No, never had Goldens before. Obviously, Caitlyn and I have too. We are in Nemacolin, Pennsylvania. Let me actually show you. I'm going to bring you up here while we're waiting. Ev, any update here? Okay, we're waiting on Dana, but this is the resort we're at. If you guys are ever looking to get away, I mean, look at this place. They haven't had any cases of COVID. Every single, when you walk in, they give you a whole, they give you masks. They also give you sanitizer. And every single employee at all times have to have a mask on. You cannot be outside of your room without a mask on, or you instantly will get called out for it. So it's like the perfect hideaway. Look at this place. Look at this golf course. You kidding me? Unbelievable. So we're in Nemacolin. Dana White is here. We got him. Let's. Dana, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'll tell you what, the last time I think I saw you, we were on live with Pilot Pete, the former Bachelor. He was doing that McDonald challenge. We were trying to get there, and you put us over the top. Without your donation, we couldn't have done it.
That's awesome. Yeah. That was fun.
Good stuff.
And I just stumbled upon that. I was goofing around on Instagram and just stumbled on it. And yeah, it was perfect.
Well, Bob Menry took credit for that. So if it wasn't him, then you know what? Forget about it.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was Menry. But Menry would take credit for anything anyway. That's what Menry does.
I love it. That's awesome. All right, well, I got you for 30 minutes, so let's get into it. You know, I'm a huge UFC fan, even bigger fan of yours. But today, the purpose isn't really to dig in the weeds about the UFC. It's more to understand your life story, detours you endured, challenges you faced. And literally, if there's one person watching now that could take something away and apply it to their life and be impacted by the insight you provide, today was a win. So let's get into it. All right. So
I think that I think that the key to everything is knowing what you want to do. You know, there's a lot of kids that go to college because you're told if you don't go to college, you won't amount to anything. You won't this, that. So they go because they think they have to go. Sure. Which I'm not telling you not to go to college, but they'll go there and they'll say, if you ask them, hey, what are you majoring in? Well, I'm majoring in political science, but I'm thinking about switching to finance. They're already there and they don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
When you find out what it is exactly that you want to do, you get up every single day and you work toward that goal. It's most of the battle. And then, you know, the other thing is fear. Some people are afraid to go out and start their own business or do whatever it is they want to do because, you know, oh, God, how am I going to pay my bills? Or if I lose this job or whatever, if you lose that job, it's already a shitty job you don't like anyway. You know you don't like that job. Yeah. So the reality is give it a shot. You'll always get that type of a job again if things don't work out. The worst part is sitting on the sidelines and not taking a chance and not going after it. The other thing is don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to anybody's, you know, there's always going to be critics. There's always going to be negativity. There's always going to be telling you people why you can't do it. Don't listen to any of that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you nailed it. Like, we live in this society right now where we're told that we have to live this certain blueprint, right? And I think it depends at what stage in life, but people finally break it. What I find interesting about you is that you broke it really early, right? You dropped out of college. You said, fuck college. I'm going to do what I want. And so people right now that are listening, that are looking to break the blueprint of what everybody in society is telling them to do, you know, where do they strategically get the tenacity, or what did you do to say, you know what, I don't care what people are telling me to do. I don't care about college. I'm going to pursue my dreams. What advice would you have for people like that?
Yeah, you have to go for it. There's never been a better time than right now. If you look at what's going on right now, you know, this is another big thing with me. Everything is driven by the media. Yeah. The media is putting fear in everybody about everything and all this stuff. I don't listen to the media at all. What have they ever done? They took a journalism class. Some of them did. Most of them just got a website. They don't know anything. They've never built anything. They've never done anything. Nobody's ever depended on a paycheck to take care of their family from them. why do we listen to what these people say? Don't listen to any of these guys. They've never done anything and they don't know anything.
Yeah, and I think for you, Dana, whether it's the media that's trying to judge you, or maybe early on in your career when you told people that you were going to get in the fight business, I'm sure a lot of people then and now sometimes be like, Dana, you're crazy. So judgment's a huge thing, and I think that fear is one thing that really inhibits us from doing what we got to do. So what do you do on a day-to-day basis then and now to fight through all the judgment and all the bullshit that we deal with through the media, through our mentors, maybe family, friends, things like that?
Look at the pandemic. When I started, there was this douchebag from the New York Times who literally was writing a story a week about, the guy never covered the UFC before ever, wrote one negative story and saw that when you write negative stories about the UFC, he did well with it.
Yeah.
So he kept writing, talking about how bad this was, that I was going to go through the pandemic and, all this negativity about me and about the UFC. At the end of August, I'll have put on 22 events. Okay.
Unbelievable.
Where is he now? Where is he now? Where is that guy? Who the fuck even was that guy? Who is he? And what has he ever done? And it's unbelievable. But where is he now? Where is he now saying, you know what, I guess I was wrong.
Exactly.
I wasn't right about that. These guys have done it. They've been successful. Everybody's been safe. And it just, I'm telling you, that's why you have to understand. It doesn't matter if it's the New York Times or whoever it is. What do they know? They know nothing. This guy's never built anything. He's never done anything in his life. His opinion means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one thing about you, Dan, is that you're always a leader amongst your peers. Clearly, the UFC has been a leader amongst all the different sporting networks right now and doing what you guys have done with UFC 249, et cetera. We'll get into that. I want to take a step back to early childhood for you. And so question I have for you is, I understand, go back to Boston in the 90s. My understanding is, again, someone was at you, you get a call from the mob, and you're like, I'm out of here. I'll dictate my life. You're not dictating my life. So tell me about kind of what that experience was like and how, the Boston mob call kind of changed your life and where you are today.
Well, back in the 80s in Boston, South Boston to be exact, I mean, that was the reality of life. Those were run-ins that you could have back then. And, basically these guys said that I owed them some money. Yeah. That I didn't owe them. And, these aren't like, there's been several movies made about these guys. These guys aren't just some small time. These were high level dudes. These were real guys. So, it was a Saturday afternoon. I had already had a couple of run-ins with them, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and I got a call at the house that said, you got till tomorrow.
Crazy.
You got till tomorrow at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever it was, to pay us. And I said, or what? Or you're going to find out. And I literally hung up the phone, picked it back up, and called Delta and got a one-way ticket to Vegas.
That is the ultimate.
And it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me, because I wouldn't have been here for all the things that happened. It's funny how things work out, and life is about timing.
Exactly. You nailed it. And so I want to talk real quick. So you moved to Vegas, and then I think a lot of people in their careers, the word I hear often from people that I'm working with, they're stuck, right? They don't know how to get out. And so I heard you talk a little bit about the fact that you worked under Peter Welsh for free, because for you, that was a way to get into what you wanted to do. So if people are looking to make a transition because they wake up every day miserable in their life, in their jobs, how do they get unstuck? Like what advice do you have for those people?
Well, for what I wanted to do, you couldn't go to college or you couldn't go to school for what I wanted to do. You had to dive in, and you had to find somebody to come up under. And for me, that guy was Peter Welsh. And there's always, it's like when the pandemic starts, there's always a solution to every problem. Yeah. I hate this job. I quit this job. There's a solution. Now, what do I want to do? I want to get into the fight game. Oh, and I'm breaking shit in here. I want to get into the fight game. So I go after this guy. He doesn't know me. Peter Welsh is a legend in Boston. And, I tracked him down. I found him. And I said, listen, I know this sounds weird, but, you know, can I work under you and learn? I want to learn everything there is to learn about the fight business. The worst thing you could do is say no. You know, he said yes. So I started working with him. And, you know, so whatever it is that you think you want to do,
yeah,
no matter how crazy, there's a way to do it. There's a way to figure it out. And half the battle is knowing what you want. Then you just go after it. Every fucking day, you get out of bed and you grind and you work toward what you want. And if you work hard enough and you do it, I promise you're going to get it.
And so you talk about grinding and working every day. And I've also heard you say, you know, life and work every day is ready to wake up and just kick you right in the face, right? And so I wanted to ask you, like, when you look back at your career, all the success you've had, think more about, like, the failures. What is one time you just remember, like, you're almost like, fuck it, I'm done, or I just got kicked in the face? Like, what is one challenge that you had to deal with that you overcame, and how'd you do it?
I honestly, I know that sounds crazy. I don't think I've ever had that. I've never had one where I said, that's it, I'm done. You know, you have bad days. Like, first of all, when I say life's standing right there to kick you in the face every morning when you get up, I could lay out a itinerary of what I need to get done today, and I promise 15 bad things are going to happen along the way that I got to deal with before I get to that stuff. But it's it just you have to get up every day and want to win. You have to get up every day and want to kick ass, and you have to have a plan. You have to lay out goals. I'm a very goal-oriented person. Lay out goals, whether it's in your professional life and your personal life. You have to lay out goals and things that you want to achieve. And it's all about knowing where you want to go. Then you build the roadmap.
It's a beautiful thing. You know, so my background's finance. It's crazy. Only 28% of Americans actually have a financially written plan. And so I think you're right? When you put it down on paper, you'll manifest it. But one thing that's interesting.
Yeah, it's real. Once you put it down on paper, it's real. You can sit there and go, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this. Lay it out, make a plan, and then start knocking shit off and start doing it.
Exactly. And so the thing, though, that's different about you, everyone could, you know, we could make a plan and we could start doing shit. But the thing that you've done unbelievably is you have this unconventional way of thinking, right? You buy this business for $2 million and then sell it for $4 billion. You have a way of creating an image, right? You synergize boxing and UFC. No, everyone's like, there's no way Dana's going to get that done. What does he do? He gets it done. So my question is, how do you come up with these like unconventional thoughts and against all odds manifest them to become a reality?
My big thing is I don't like people who say no. Don't tell me something can't be done. Everything can be done. Everything. There isn't anything that's impossible, and anything can be done. And I think that when you have that mindset, you just figure it out and you get it. And you know, again, this interview is a lot of me. I built a great fucking team over the last 20 years. And I am the furthest thing from the smartest guy you're ever going to meet. That I promise you. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. And, you know, you hire really, really good people to fill in the holes around your weaknesses.
That's one bit of advice I got is always hire people that are smarter than you and get over your ego, because those people will be. So I want to ask you about that. When you hire people or when you're looking at fighters, what is it that differentiates one person through the other? Like when you're seeing it, what is the big differentiator from an average fighter versus a great fighter, an okay employee versus the best employee? And what are you specifically looking for in these people?
Well, on both ends of the spectrum, it's about passion. I like fighters who come in, love the fight game, and want to be world champions. That's what I'm looking for. I want to hear a guy tell me he wants to be the best in the world. He wants to be a world champion. And it's the same thing with my team and my employees. First of all, I don't like drama. I don't like a bunch of bullshit. I don't like cutthroat, backstabbing. We're a team. We all work together. And all the people that work in this building are just as passionate about this sport as I am. And, you know, you know it and you feel it when you talk to people. You feel the energy that they have about being at work. And you know, you're always going to have those people that come through that are like, yeah, I'll be here at 9 and I'm out of here at 5, not 5:01, 5, and I want Saturdays and Sundays off, and every holiday that was ever created I want off, and shit like that. But what's funny is you need those type of people for your business to run too. Can't have too many of those, but they help too. You know, everybody has their place where they fit in building a successful company.
I love it. And so for upcoming athletes like yourself, right? You were a fighter growing up, but you didn't go pro, but you found a way to align yourself within a business that you've been passionate about since day one. You know, what advice would you have for upcoming athletes that may not be able to make it pro? Like, how do you still stay aligned with your passion in today's world?
Yeah, this is a rough business, man, because you find out real quick whether you're built for this or not, you know. And just because you weren't built to fight doesn't mean you don't love the sport and you're not passionate about, you know, the business itself. So now you have to take a serious look at yourself and be honest with you. I had to be honest with myself. You're not good enough, okay?
Yeah.
But we love the sport and we want to stay. And you know, so what else do I do? I'm going to learn everything. I'm going to learn everything there is to know about the sport.
For sure. I think the quicker you're vulnerable with yourself, the better the faster you'll advance. We only have a few minutes left, so I want to ask you about the fact that UFC has really set the stage in sports, right? You know, Fight Island, UFC 249. Again, you've set the stage. No one's done it. So, in preparing for that, what are some things and thoughts? Again, it's just a manifestation. How are you able to always lead the pack and do things like this? Like, what is your thought process as the leader of UFC when all this mayhem is going on to, again, find solutions? Walk me through it.
I think that a lot of the other leagues, NFL, Major League Baseball, even PGA, all of them, you know, when this thing went down, these guys are afraid of what the media is going to write about them and what they say and what they think. I don't give a shit about the media. Their opinion means less than nothing to me. All of them. I don't care.
I love it.
And so them coming out and terrorizing me on a daily basis and writing bad things about the company, I could give a shit about. And our fans are hardcore too, man. Our fans don't put up with any of the media bullshit either. So it literally works out perfect. But you have to go in. I know, and here's the best part. My employees knew that we would figure this thing out and that we would make it safe before they had to come back to work. The fighters knew we would make it safe if they were going to fight. And anybody who remotely had any doubts sat home and watched and saw what we did, and then they were ready to go. So it's about figuring it out, doing what you say you're going to do. Just like I said, get up every day and kick ass, whether it's during a pandemic or no pandemic or whatever. Every day when you own a business, there's going to be problems. There's going to be problems in your personal life, your business life. It's just shit that you need to deal with. And I love solving problems. It's one of my favorite things to do.
It's literally the definition and the epitome of leadership, right? The biggest challenge and change the world has ever seen. And you guys have led your way to say, we're going to find a solution. We're going to do it the right way. Everyone's going to be safe. And we're still going to be the only sport putting TV on, which is awesome. And I have one last question for you as we talk about leadership and changing the way that things are done. You know, you worked the biggest deal I think we've ever seen in pay-per-view, right? Mayweather and McGregor. Do you think we'll ever see like a deal of that magnitude again? And if so, like what, you know, how do you again think about, how do you even trump that? I mean, that's like about as good as it gets.
So here's my philosophy, and there's around 7 billion people in the world, right?
Yep.
Now, as we continue to grow and go into all these other countries around the world, you know, we're building fans. More and more people are training to fight now. The list goes on and on. Technology has been very good to this business. So when I grew up, I'm old. I'm 51.
Yeah.
So we had Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 8, and Channel 13. Then a little while after that, cable came. We had 30-something channels, you know. Now, with OTT and streaming, the entire world can watch the same thing at the same time. So as we continue to grow the sport, grow the martial art, mixed martial arts, build stars in all these different parts of the world, I'm telling you, there will be a day when I am putting on a fight and the whole world cares and the whole world will be watching. That's my goal.
I just got goosebumps. That is fucking right. You think about the Super Bowl, you get 100 million people watching the Super Bowl, and you put in perspective, think bigger. So, Dana, listen.
7 billion is my upside.
I love it. I love it. Well, Dana, thank you so much for your time. I think, honestly, the way you've changed the landscape of the UFC, the way entertainment has changed under your leadership and the things you've done is awesome. If there's one person watching here that could take some of your insight, apply it to your life, I found this half hour as a win, and I really appreciate what you're doing. You're an inspiration to a lot of us.
Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. Thank you, Dana.
Bye.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining another Restart Real Talk, right? Purpose of this whole entire thing is to find people who have achieved prominent success, forget about where they are now, but break down how the hell they got there, right? You look at Dana White. What an unbelievable story. He's a bellman. He's beating the shit out of other bellmen for tips. He goes to college, leaves college, then decides, I'm going to pursue my passion. While deciding that, he picks up a Boston fighter, works for free. Right? I mean, it's unbelievable. You find ways to navigate. While he's working for free, gets a call from the Boston mob. He has to run out of town and then develops a $2 million purchase to an over $4 billion acquisition in less than 20 years. Clearly a leader. He ignores the noise, stays focused on what he does, wakes up every day and fights for what he believes in. So that's the purpose of these talks. If you can take anything away from this conversation, apply it to your life, it's a win. If you could go follow Restart and join us, we're really trying to continue to spread this message, impact people's lives professionally, personally, financially, and really appreciate everyone tuning in. This was awesome, and I really appreciate all the comments and support. Dana White, you are the man. UFC is untouchable. You guys are kicking ass and taking names. Guys, thank you so much for another Restart Real Talk. This was a huge success. It's now happy hour, so time to go fire a drink off. Take care, guys.